Hey Apollo and Podcast Network presents Rookie Revelation, the podcast for NFL fans who don't just follow the game, but they understand it at a deeper level. The insider's guide to the NFL draft, team building, and uncovering the hidden gems that could transform the league. Spot the stars before they shine. Rookie Revelation is your draft day edge. Join Jonathan and CJ as they present Rookie Revelation.
All right, moving on to the next team. We're going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, here we go. Quarterback position, D.
You gotta chill.
Okay. This is the real. We're gonna make this a quick conversation, and we'll have this conversation for another day. Trevor Lawrence is gonna have to show me.
We'll give him a C- for now.
That's fine. Because this is going to be his third coach. This is going to be his third coach.
Exactly. He can't prosper if he keeps getting his coach changed on it.
But he had 3 years with Doug. But I give you this. I will give you the fact that his receivers has a high drop rate. But at the same time, we want to see him perform with the circumstance. Like, being the first overall pick, because then we're just going to pigeonhole him. He needs to have talent to be good. I didn't think Trevor was going to be like that. I think, you know what I mean? Like, obviously the Justin Herbert and Trevor comparisons of just their overall talent and being kind of like the same archetype of body. Justin is light years better than Trevor right now.
Justin Fields?
Not Justin Fields. Did I say Justin Fields? Justin Herbert.
Oh, Herbert. Okay.
So if Trevor can get, like, I mean, because Doug Peterson is a good coach. So, like, I don't know what it is.
Doug Peterson called plays the year Trevor went off, and then he stopped calling plays.
That's true.
And he never took it back. Like, I feel like if he had just kept calling plays the whole time, Trevor would have kept cooking.
Fair. I mean, but it's a lot, though. It's a lot to do that.
Yeah, it is. So. But you're also the coach. So you either find somebody who's a good offensive coordinator that can call plays or do it yourself. And you were doing it yourself and you were doing well. But then you made a bad hire and didn't add
Taylor.
Somebody who couldn't call plays. You had them calling plays. And you waited until after the season to be like, yeah, they weren't the best play caller. And you found somebody else who also wasn't the best.
Yeah. Fair enough. So Doug Peterson, they went 4-13 this past year, who got fired. Press Taylor was the offensive coordinator, and Ryan Nelson, who was previously the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons under Arthur Smith. Trent Baalke remains as the general manager. Shad Khan is the owner, running a West Coast offense, 4-3 defense. So C- for quarterback. We got to see it. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars and ownership are invested in Trevor. They're not going to make him one of the highest paid quarterbacks of all time without giving him $250 million. So, but he hasn't shown that. So if they get Ben Johnson, I am 100% sure that they're going to make something shake. Running back position is the position that we're going to have to talk about because Trevor Etienne has to go.
I don't think he has to go.
He's not RB1 anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah. But
I think this should be a full-on committee, and then you go with the hot hand.
Honestly, I say you get rid of Trevor and you draft. A dude like Damian Martinez to spell tank.
What are you getting when you trade him, though?
Nothing. A fourth? I don't know. It doesn't even matter. I just don't think you can rely on him.
I think you can. I think especially if you make Tank the early down back, and you should make
Him the
third down back, or
listen,
the change of pace back.
In a hypothetical world, if Ben Johnson sees Tank Bigsby as his David Montgomery and Trevor Etienne his Jahmyr Gibbs, which I don't, I still think you get your Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round because it's a demon. It's a demon. You can get you a demon. this running back class.
Who's Jahmyr Gibbs, though? Exactly.
I don't know yet.
Exactly.
Damian Martinez. I gave you the name, Damian Martinez from Miami. Trust me, once you see him in the Senior Bowl. But anyways, running back room, I'm going to give it I like Tank a lot, but I'm going to give this running back room a C+. Because we've seen Trevor when he can be good. Like the Trevors in Jacksonville right now, they're going to be, they're on thin ice. Trevor in Jacksonville is on thin ice. Trevor, Lawrence, and Etienne. But obviously, Trevor getting knocked out of the season after 10 games is not the best. And especially to a division rival, which that's going to be a must-see matchup next year. So what do you think? C+?
For running backs?
Yeah.
I think C+ is fair.
Yeah.
But they both have talent.
I love Tank Bigsby, though. I think Tank Bigsby's RB1. And I'll give you props because Tank Bigsby is one of your draft crushes, and you was hammering because this is like year 3 for Tank, right?
This was year 2.
This is year 2?
This was year 2. He'll be going into year 3.
Yeah, and you was like, "Yo, Tank Bigsby's really the RB1." You said that from the jump. So, especially coming out of Auburn, right?
He was a stud.
Auburn.
Yeah,
he was good.
Yeah,
and he kind of flew under the radar. And Tank Bigsby helped me cash a nasty ladder in London. It was beautiful. I had him up to 90 yards rushing. Great day. Okay, wide receiver room. I'm just gonna say C. And that's I was gonna go C-, but Brian Thomas Jr. was my draft crush. And I will say this, and I told you guys this. I like Brian Thomas Jr. more than I like Malik Neighbors. I thought Brian Thomas Jr. was the better wide receiver from Malik Neighbors is still good, but again, I'm a height supremacist. It's something when I find a big body.
What did you say?
It's something is when I find a big body receiver. That's like my infatuation. I love receivers that are 6'2", mostly 6'3". The 6'3", 6'4" archetype that can move. That is like, I love those type of receivers, those big body guys. And when I saw his downfield ability and his big play catch, I was like, how is he not wide? Like, how is he talking about late 20s? Like, he should have been higher. And even people who are like trying to do like their redraft of the first round last year, they still have, I would draft Brian Thomas Jr. over Marvin Harrison Jr. if I redraft today.
After the way Marvin Harrison Jr. played, I don't think that's a crazy take.
It's not a crazy take. But I just don't know if it's just Kyler. Is it Arizona? Because Trey McBride got a lot of touches, but he also didn't get no touches in the end zone. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, Marvin Harrison still had like 8 touchdowns this past year. Nice. So pretty good touchdowns, just not a lot of yards. Didn't get a lot of looks either. Like, he will get a lot of his looks the first 2 possessions and go missing the rest of the game. So, and then like, who else you're throwing to? Obviously, it's just Trey McBride. And then Michael Wilson, but I don't even know what his numbers look like. But
I don't think very good.
But Christian Kirk can't stay healthy. Gabe Davis can't stay healthy. Parker Washington, I like the potential of him, but he's kind of buried in the depth chart. Who else is in the receiver room?
That's basically it.
Josh Reynolds, they have Tim Jones, Josh Cephas. Devin Duvernay. So not great, but I like the upside of Parker Washington and Brian Thomas Jr. Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis, will see. Like, if we can get flashes of playoff Gabe Davis a few years ago and Christian Kirk when he first came to Jacksonville, this could be a very, very good offense. It could be a very, very good offense. Yeah. But we'll see.
As we talked about, they could save 13.5, or no, they could cut Christian Kirk.
Yeah,
at 13.5 million.
Yeah.
So they could move on from him. He suffered or struggled with injury this year after getting hurt at the end of, was it like week 17 last year or week 18?
Yeah.
It was like end of the season.
Might have been the playoff. Was it the playoff game?
No, they didn't make the playoffs last year.
I think 2 years ago.
So he struggled with injury. I could see them moving on from him.
And especially when Evan Ingram thrive when he can play in the slot.
Yeah. But I think they should move on from Christian Kirk, move on from Gabe Davis, go get T. Higgins, and draft him.
They just signed Gabe Davis.
Hey, there's only a 2-year deal, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, God. Yeah, they definitely need to cut him because his dead cap is $13 million, but his dead cap is $13 million, but for Christian Kirk, his cap hit is 24.
So they save 11.
Yeah.
They signed Christian Kirk, or not Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis to a 3-year deal.
His money's not bad, but his dead cap this year is really bad. His dead cap is $20 million. His cap hit is $6 million.
So they lose 14 by cutting him. So he's on the roster for another year.
He's on the roster for another year.
Doesn't mean he has to start, though.
Evan Ingram is your second highest paid player next year. Dang, this Trevor deal must be fantastic. Holy crap. Trevor's dead cap next year, $133 million. They spread this money. They spread this money. Holy crap. But yeah, you gotta feed Evan Ingram. He has to be your focal point. But again, can he be your focal point if he can't stay healthy?
Well, Brian Thomas Jr. needs to be your focal point.
For sure, but like
Evan Ingram can be your chain mover.
Like, yeah, you can have those should be your 1-2. For sure.
Unless you get T. Higgins.
Okay, stop that. Devin Duvernay's making $3 million next year? That's such an overpay. I'm sorry, that's wrong. I shouldn't say that. Also, Brandon Sheriff's making $13 million. He's 34 now. Jeez, I didn't realize he got that old quick. All right. Yeah. Okay. So receivers C, tight end room C+. I like Brenton Strange. I think Brenton Strange is good, a nice athlete. I think he's waiting to break out.
I said B-. They got Evan Ingram.
And Brenton Strange are the top two. Luke Farrell and that's about it. Brenton Strange finished the year with 40 catches, 411 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Pretty solid production from your tight end too.
Yeah, I think a B-.
Okay.
The offensive line, we got
Walker Little, left tackle, Ezra Cleveland, left guard, Mitch Morse, center, Brandon Sheriff, right guard, and Anton Harrison. Anton Harrison I like him. He's been pretty solid. What happened to Cam Robinson?
They traded him to the Jags.
To who?
They traded him to the Vikings, sorry.
Oh.
After, what's his name got hurt? Darisaw.
I mean, yeah, Walker Little's 25. He's still young. This offensive line's not good, though.
No, Walker Little's like a average left tackle, so they could upgrade him. The interior definitely needs to be upgraded, though.
Ezra Cleveland, Minnesota legend from Boise State. I don't think he should be a starting guard in the league.
Brandon Sheriff's 34.
He's aging, and they paid him. I think they saved $13 million. I don't even think he's under contract. It says he's a free agent in 2025.
Okay, this is probably last year his deal, so they need a right guard.
So they need interior for sure. For sure. And their center's 32, Mitch Morse. So. Yeah, offensive line help for sure. Anton Harrison, I think, is the only good. Yeah. And they might even try to have to swing him to left. Which I don't want to hamper his development, but if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So what are we giving them?
C-.
C- or a D+?
D+.
Okay.
So moving on to their defensive line, I like their edges a lot. Obviously, Trayvon Walker, who has been a dog. I think Trayvon Walker gets so much hate, and people don't watch him ball.
Because he's not better than Aiden Hutchinson. That's why people hate him.
But he's playing and not, But that's the thing is, like,
And he still
Aiden,
has
don't get me
less
wrong.
sacks. You're right. He's still playing and he still has less sacks. That's crazy.
But Trayvon Walker's had back-to-back 10-sack seasons. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, look, Aiden Hutchinson is very good. But Trayvon Walker is not bad either. It's like, yes. Like, I think the biggest thing with Trayvon Walker is, like, we knew, like, how good of a run defender he was, and he had pass rush upside. So if he were to develop as a pass rusher, he would be a complete defense. And which he has been.
I completely forgot they also had Eric Armstead.
And they also had, no, I'm tripping. That was a long time ago. I was thinking, I don't know why I was about to say Calais Campbell. But he was becoming a free agent for the Dolphins, and he's going to try to get a little Super Bowl run. I like this defensive line. Josh Hines Allen. They paid him. Oh, wait, is he a free agent this year?
Josh Allen? Oh, they paid him.
Okay. He's only got a $15 million cap hit, but a $68 million dead cap. Yeah, he's under contract till 2029. So yeah, that's definitely one of their pillars. I'm gonna go B, strong B plus for this defensive line.
I'll give him a B. I don't like the depth as much.
They definitely could use like another rotational players to add to their rotation.
And then linebacker, they got
Devin Lloyd, Foyesade Olukun, who's okay year. I feel like this was a down year for him. I feel like he was pretty good last year.
Yeah, he was. They also have a ton of linebackers. They got Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma, Foyesade Olukun, Ventrell Miller, and Yasir Abdullah all listed as starters. They have 5 starting linebackers.
You run a 3-5-3?
No, they run a 4-3, but they just have like co-starters at linebackers because they play so many.
Yeah, which they drafted a lot. I mean, how deep? Like, I'm gonna say C plus. Let's go C plus. I think these guys had a down year. Obviously they rotate a lot, so you're not gonna see a guy, but like, I don't know. Like they have depth, but it's like who's like really like a stud for them, and it should be Olukun, who's supposed to be their guy, like their stud, but. And they drafted Chad Moon, like, because they kept drafting guys like when they had guys there, Yeah. So that was really confusing.
So what did you say for them? A C?
I said C.
Okay. All right. Cornerback, they have
Tyson Campbell, who they just gave the bag to. They got, which is I didn't even think that man was still in the league. But 9 pass breakups, so he's still contributing. Shit, I would have took him in the Commanders this year. Let's see. Andre Sisco at strong safety, Antonio Johnson at free, Monteric Brown. 8 pass breakups, 1 interception, 55 tackles. Here's their 7th round pick. And then Jarian Jones, 8 pass breakups, 1 tackle. 1 interception, from Florida State last year, their 3rd round pick. I think Tyson had a down year this year. 6 pass breakups, no interceptions, 42 tackles. Yeah. I'm going to say C plus. Oh, they got Darnell Savage. Andrew Wingard. He had an interception. I mean, there's not a lot of turnovers in this secondary. So they didn't turn the ball over. I mean, Tyson Campbell's going to be their one going forward, but outside of that, like I think a lot of these guys are replaceable. But they're still pretty young though. Actually, I don't look at Antonio Johnson. He's 23. Tyson is like 24. So they're a young defense. And then Andre Sisco's 24. So this is a very young defense. So obviously they drafted a lot of these guys over the last 2 years, and they're playing a lot of minutes for them. So it's still early. So they got to keep developing. Maybe bring in a savvy vet to kind of help. And obviously they're gonna be running a new defense next year. So I'm gonna go C plus. C. No, C.
I think that's fair. And then for draft capital, they have the 5th overall pick.
Will Johnson, run it in.
They also have their own 2nd through 7th round picks, and they have an extra 3rd and 4th from Minnesota.
Ooh, that's a A. That's B. A minus.
That's an A for sure.
That's
A minus. I think A.
That's a good. Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. That's like 9 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think anything over 8 should be like A.
Well, it's also
and they got a top 5 pick.
They have a top 5 pick, 3 more top 100 picks, and then 106. Oh, and they also have the Seahawks 6th round pick. So they have 10 picks actually.
Oh, okay. That's A for sure. I like that. Honestly, they're in a good position with that 5th overall pick. Because Will Johnson, I think, is there, but then if like happened, a Mason, is it Mason Graham? Mason Graham is there. You can. I think that's the best player available. I mean, I don't foresee a Travis Hunter being there at 5, but yeah, I think you can get the best defensive player because I mean you could. I don't know if they'll go dual Carter because they don't need an edge rusher, but like I think it's Will Johnson or honestly it's Will Johnson or Kevin Banks. Just right now, but they're in a good position with the top 5 pick
and extra picks as well.
Exactly. Okay. What else? What's the last thing for the Jags?
So that was draft capital. Coaching staff. They don't have one right now.
Yeah, so they underperformed. So because I think their talent. What is their talent? So they got a quarterback. They got a wide receiver 1 now.
Mm-hmm.
They have a good running back. They have a corner 1. They got 2 good edge rushers. I mean, I would say their talent's like C plus, B minus talent. And I just think that coaching just failed. I mean, they made the playoffs last year or 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
So there's a 2-year drought from not being in the playoffs. So, yeah, and they just kind of gone downhill. So F for sure for coaching. Front office, D. I mean, I don't know. It's weird because, like, a lot of their guys are starting. They're young, and they drafted them. Like, they drafted Tyson Campbell. They drafted Trevor. They drafted Brian Thomas Jr. Like, all these guys they got that are contributing, and they're their best players for the most part, they've drafted. So that you have to give them credit for that.
D plus?
D plus?
Yeah, I think so. D plus or C minus? Like, nobody wants to coach this team because of the GM. I
That's
think
fair.
that has to factor in.
That's fair. D plus
But
is fine.
despite him hitting on especially first round picks and like some early seconds,
Yeah, that's fair.
overall talent, we said they got a quarterback one, they got a wide receiver one, they have 2 decent running backs. They have 2 good edges. They have a corner one. Where does that put them?
I thought we put C plus for their talent.
C plus for overall talent? Okay.
I think that's fair.
Free agents, the biggest one is Andre Sisco. They also have Mac Jones, Jeremiah Ledbetter, Caleb Johnson, Ernest Johnson, CJ Beathard, Luke Farrell, Deshaun Dixon, Esezi Atomewo. That's what we'll go with. Cole Van Lanen and Tim Jones. So only 11 free agents, and they have plenty of money.
And possibly Brendan Sheriff, who can be moved. So, interior offensive line. I mean, yeah. I mean, again, I think honestly, like, this team is. I mean, if you can nail these positions. Like, you get you some interior help. Like, think about this. Ben Johnson and was it Kevin Haley? Or no, Frank Haley is going to be the offensive coordinator that's going to come with him, who's going to also work as his offensive line coach, who's one of the best offensive line coaches. He's going to turn that offensive line around. You get you the right piece, maybe even a backup piece from Detroit, who's maybe a borderline starter. The offensive line would be a lot better. Trevor will probably be processed better. I don't know. Not bad.
Let's see.
So overall for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean,
so draft capital, we gave them an A for their grade. They have the 5th overall pick. They have their own 2nd through 7th round picks. They have an extra 3rd and 4th from Minnesota and an extra 6th round pick from the Seahawks, I believe.
Yeah, I think we gave them A minus for draft, right?
We give them an A.
A, okay, yeah. So
we gave them an F for their coaching staff because they currently do not have one.
Yes, and they stunk it up to give themselves a 5th overall pick.
Yes,
and just kind of declined consistently.
And we gave them a D plus for their front office / GM because no coach wants to take the job with the current GM.
Yeah.
And their overall talent, we gave them a C plus. So factoring all of those in,
D plus.
I think that's fair. A D plus for the Jags.
And that's a wrap on this episode of Rookie Revelation. Thanks for joining us. And don't forget, rate and leave a review. It helps us bring you even more draft day insights. You got a player you're keeping your eye on, or a draft take you're dying to share? Reach out to us on social media at hate2pylon or drop an email at hate2pylon@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. But until next time, remember, the future of football starts here. We'll see you next week on the Rookie Revelation. The Rookie Revelation will be televised.